Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Experts here at bodacity.ca. Today, I'm pleased to have with us the first man we've had on Ask the Experts, so you know he's special right off the top, Mario Hostios, and I'll give you a little bit of information about him, and then we're going to leap right in because I really want him to talk to you about this fascinating topic of how to help your men have more energy and focus and drive, and how to help you have more energy, focus, and drive. So let me just give you a little bit of information about Mario. First of all, we met a little while ago on at an event where I was quite drawn to his calm energy and his lovely supportive people at the event. And then we also met on the Marketers Cruise a little while ago. So, you know, we get around. So let me give you some background here. With over 30 years of experience in holistic health, fitness, and personal development, Mario Hostios lives on the cutting edge of high performance and the fulfillment of human potential. Be it in business, the gym, or a meditation temple, Mario practices, preaches, and teaches the path of comprehending Mother Nature and following her example. So you're going to join us today as he reveals the most critical yet overlooked thing that men can do to maintain their drive, focus, and energy. And spoiler alert, it's even more important for women. So you might want to grab a pen and paper and your best belly laughs, have those on hand as he guides us into the first step to claim ownership of an ageless advantage that will fuel your highest achievements and satisfaction in business and life. So no small claims there, Mario. All right. All right. So beyond all of the, marketing rhetoric in your intro, I'd like you to tell us one thing about you that we would never guess looking at you.
One thing that, I would say that I spend inordinate amount of time doing inordinately weird things. And I'll give you an example.
Okay,
I'm a practitioner of meditative practices. I research them and I practice a lot.
Okay. So how many hours a day do you meditate?
It's probably north of 2 right now.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, right there.
Let me stress that's an acquired taste.
Yeah, seriously, I'm just flummoxed. I'm happy if I get in 10 minutes. And of those 10 minutes, maybe 60 seconds is actually spent meditating. The other is trying to wrestle my monkey brain to come back and come back and come back. Anyways, okay, so tell me a little bit about your journey, how you got to this amazing process and where you are and the work that you're doing. And tell us a little bit about your work with men.
Absolutely. So my initiation, my rite of passage into my life purpose can be summed up in just a few words. My back hurt.
Okay.
And so, as I'm sure many people in your community can relate to this, oftentimes pain is the thing that gets our attention and gets us moving in that direction, right? It can be serendipitous in a way. And so in my case, many, many years ago, when I was a young man, I had really bad back pain. And I was at a loss for how to deal with this. I was quite frustrated, and it forced me to look outside the bounds of what I thought I knew and consider other opportunities and other possibilities, and then follow those threads. It has taken me into things that I never would have anticipated, and I have gained far more than I ever initially looked for. In regards to what I do with men now, a lot of that has been born out of the recognition that male health is in decline, not just physical health, but mental health. And this is something of a crisis that is largely being ignored and unattended to. And my aha moment on that was when I went to menshealth.gov. And I didn't find anything.
Oh, really?
Nothing. And womenshealth.gov, there's all kinds of stuff. And I thought, well, isn't that interesting? And this told me a couple of things. In the main, this is something that's ignored, not just by the public or government or whatever, but also by men themselves. And then what are the consequences of this? And what exactly is going on? And so I started to investigate this a little bit. And my take on this, I like to tell my people that I work with that we do MacGyvers. We come up with innovative solutions with things that are around and easily available that address the most urgent problem that you have. And I'm really excited to share this with your community today because I don't know who wrote that intro. I almost look like the back of a baseball card or something. However, this is so critically important for people to understand. And you can probably relate to this, Jannette, and I'm sure your community and the Bodacity community could relate. Sometimes what we need is a contextual change, not necessarily a context change. Often we have the tools we need. What we lack is the context and perhaps the instruction to use them. And so this thing that you may have in your house can literally supercharge your drive, focus, and energy, serve as a sort of bulletproof armor for many of the diseases that people are suffering with right now, and you just don't know about it. I'm going to make absolutely sure you know how to use this thing and take advantage of it today.
Okay, awesome. So it came out of your personal journey of looking for a healing solution, looking for something that would work for you. And then I know, just from getting to know you and talking to you, you tend to do some really deep dives when you're doing research. Mm-hmm. So you've studied a whole bunch of different areas and brought all of that together. How do you work with people? So how do you deliver your services or your products or your programs, or what is your business?
It's a great question. I appreciate that. I do speaking. I'll do it publicly or live. I connect with people and I get the message out. And one of the things that I talk about is the importance of this little thing I have right over here. I'm going to show you in a second. And then for people who are interested in that feel compelled, and maybe they're feeling some pain, they're struggling, they're suffering, and they're at a loss. I conduct classes. I can do these live. I can do them in a group or a private fashion. I can also do them online, and we cover the content, and I give people specific action steps, why it's important, and then we work on the accountability aspect. This is in particular regards to the things that I teach around lifestyle. I do have some experience also doing some soft tissue body work, as well as fitness, which is my original first sort of foray into the realm of personal development. It was all about exercise, right? The solution to every problem was more push-ups until it wasn't. Then you go into the next thing and the next thing and just follow that thread. So I have ways to work with people online, and I typically use video conferencing in order to teach that stuff.
Cool. Okay. And I want to talk to you a little bit more, if we have time, about developing a health and wellness business, especially an online one, because I know that there's lots of people in the community who are doing that. And so in addition to getting the information that you have for us, they'd also probably be very interested in what's worked for you and really developing that market or making that transition into working online as well. So if we have time, let's go there. But for right now, let's jump right in. What's this one magical mystery elixir or thing that will fix everything for everyone?
This magical mystery thing that you probably already have in your home. And if you don't, you need to go to the drugstore or the grocery store and get it this week. Is drum roll.
Yep. There we go.
Epsom salts.
That's not what I thought you were going to say. Okay.
I know. And it gets better. So what is in here that is so special? Well, in particular, it's the mineral magnesium.
Okay.
And so here's the story, and I try to convey the gestalt of the message without getting overly technical or scientific, because you need to know why it's important. And I'll put it this way. There are 3 problems that we see increasing in the population right now in the first world. One of them is obesity. People are getting overweight, and all of the problems that result from that. Another one are mental problems, depression type issues. We see more and more of that happening in the population. And now within the last 5-7 years, the third one is infertility. That is not so great when we're talking about young people in the stage of their life where, I mean, let's face it, getting pregnant should be a snap. We're seeing this not be the case anymore. What is driving this? Well, the thing I explain to people is that while the modern environment is it's comfortable and it's certainly very convenient, it's not really conducive to human physiology. In particular, the mineral magnesium has been stolen from you. Now, what are the consequences of this? Well, we have to look at what magnesium does in the body. It does many, many things, but probably the principal thing, and I try to use pictures or analogies to get it, the gestalt in people's heads. If you think of the human cell as a car engine, there is a part in the engine called a spark plug. That's what gets everything going. No spark plug, the car won't run. The spark plug runs on magnesium. If you don't have magnesium, the spark plug in your cells do not run. Now, what are the consequences of this? Well, the first three things I just mentioned, obesity, depression, as well as infertility, all of those things are expressions of magnesium deficiency and other things too, but especially magnesium. In the long run, we have even more dramatic, urgent problems. Cancer, heart disease, and mental decline. All of these things are exacerbated by magnesium deficiency, which is an epidemic in the first world. Here's the kicker. It's so easy to fix and it's so inexpensive. It's almost free. However, the medical community is not really looking in that direction, and so they miss it. You can't afford to miss it. And that's the essence of my message, is to tell you how to find out what your magnesium level is and how to fix it. Okay, well, so we're going to go there in a second, but why is it that we don't have enough magnesium? Because, I mean, humans were born at one point with a body that was in balance, that took care of itself, that replenished itself, that had things in balance, etc. So what is it that leaches or bleeds all of this magnesium out of our system, or why don't we have it more naturally? Why do we have to augment it? It's the perfect question. There is a document, the 1936, so 85 years ago, Department of Agriculture, U.S. Department of Agriculture, basically told us at that time that due to the mass agribusiness, the common farming practices, they had depleted the soils. That was 80 years ago. So in the main, it's not in the food. If it's not in the food, you're not going to get to eat it. And the reason it's not in the food is because it's not in the soils. So even if you eat a healthy diet, you are overwhelmingly likely to be massively deficient in magnesium. All right. So why doesn't the medical profession say, just tell every patient to add magnesium to their diet or to take a magnesium vitamin? Some do. I'll reference the work of right here, Dr. Carolyn Dean. She's a physician. She wrote this book, The Magnesium Miracle. She is at the forefront of promoting magnesium optimization within her community, the medical community. However, there's not a lot of money in it, so there isn't a lot of impetus in the pharmaceutical companies or insurance companies to really get behind it. And physicians, again, if they're not looking in that direction, this is something they will commonly miss. For instance, in your common blood work, they don't really check it. Or if they do, they use a test that's not particularly effective. And so it's ironic, because if you optimize magnesium, it will tend to fix many of the blood indices that physicians check for when you get your regular blood work. Okay. So what is the key benefits of magnesium? And then tell us, how can we determine our levels of them? Okay. So magnesium makes your cells run. It is the fuel that drives the spark plug, which is called the mitochondria in your engine. There have been studies that have been done on this that optimized levels of magnesium act as a buffer against the formation of cancer. Your listeners are invited to take a look at this. There's a fellow doctor, this was 80 years ago, Otto Heinrich Warburg. He won the 1935 Nobel Prize. I always get those confused, Nobel and Pulitzer. The Nobel Prize for his work on cancer research. You can look it up on Wikipedia. And essentially what he's discovered, and there are other people now in our modern day who are verifying and corroborating his findings, that if your cells become acidic or low oxygen, that they can flip. There's a switch. They can run either on oxygen or they can run on sugar. And if that magnesium level gets too low, the cell can become acidic and it can basically flip into a cancer type metabolism. Right? So optimizing magnesium can act as a buffer and a preventative and even aid in treatment that way. Also, in regards to heart attacks, the second greatest concentration of magnesium in the body, ideally, is in the heart if it's in there. It's interesting to note that when people have heart attacks and they go to the emergency room and they're getting treatment, when everything else fails, they will get an injection or an IV of magnesium.
Interesting. Okay. And so I'm assuming that in terms of especially men's health, but also women's heart disease is on the rise, that for, we talked about what is one thing that women can do to support and take care of their husbands more so that they are in better health, have more energy, have more focus, potentially better, more affectionate in all sorts of areas. What is the typical way to find out what level of magnesium we need and or what a partner might want or need, or how do we determine that? And is it, by the way, I'm assuming it's also an issue for children. If we're not getting it as adults, we're certainly not getting it as children. So how do we figure out how much our people need?
That's the perfect question. This is the part that you want to make sure you get a pen and paper and perhaps write this down. This is important. The name of the test is the red blood cell magnesium test. Red blood cell magnesium test. You'll typically see it abbreviated RBC MG test. That's the test you want and no other. There is another test, a serum test, but it is not indicative of intracellular levels. You want the RBC test, and this is an inexpensive test. It costs about $50. You can get it on requestatest.com. Requestatest.com.
So you can actually mail away for it. For those of us in Canada, in my experience, most of the time, if you go into your GP and you request a test, they will put it on the lab sheets, and then we don't pay for it at all. We can just go into a thing and not pay for it. And if they're wondering why you want that test, most of them will probably know or understand. But if not, you can simply say that you've read some research or found out some research that says that lower magnesium levels tend to deplete energy and have increased risk for various things. All right, so we got that test, then what?
Ideally, you want to score at the top of that range. Now, there is a little bit of debate on what constitutes an optimal score, but in general, the consensus is that it is over 6.5.
Okay. Is that on a scale of 10, or what is that?
It goes as low as, well, I guess somebody who's dead has probably got 0. But
yeah.
The range is kind of broad. They want 4. I've seen 4 to 7, 4.2 to 7.2. Many of the people who come to see me when they get this test done are coming in around 2 or 2.1.
And is it different?
Much lower than what is optimal.
Is it different for men, women, and children?
My understanding is those indices are the same across all populations. Because these are micronutrients, their needs are the same. How they express themselves hormonally, it'd be a little different in men and women. But that kind of leads into why magnesium is even good for behavioral things, because magnesium does have a cascading beneficial effect on hormones.
Okay. So say a little bit more about that. What does that mean?
Okay, so in the simplest way, your body makes hormones, but it makes it out of the food and water and stuff that you eat, right? So if you're deficient in these minerals, you literally don't have the building blocks in order to make these hormones. In particular, magnesium will increase a hormone called DHEA. DHEA is thought of as the anti-stress, anti-aging hormone.
Hence your ageless solution.
Correct.
Because what they might not know is you're actually 98, right? So
I'm 50 years old. So
okay.
Yeah, things are going pretty good. Things are going pretty good.
So the once we do the test and you find out, okay, yes, I need more magnesium or I'm low, is the only way to monitor where you're at with it to go back and have the test again? Or is there some other way to know, okay, I'm at a good level, or this is working, or I'm feeling, this, I've got the appropriate amount for me?
The way to verify it is with a subsequent test.
Okay.
However, it's my experience that when people begin to restore this deficiency and move it into an optimal range, the difference in mood, energy, and sleep quality is so pronounced that they know it's having an effect.
Okay. And so let's, why just Epsom salts? Can people just take a magnesium vitamin? And is there one you recommend, or is there a better way to up that level quickly? It would seems to me that through Epsom salts, well, I guess through the skin and into the bloodstream, but that seems to me to be a slower boat to China.
It's a great question. It's surprising to realize that it's actually faster. Here's why. Digestive issues, compromised digestion is common. This is one of the things that is fostering or inhibiting the absorption of nutrients, even when people have good diets. And that's another tangent. But so that's why I like going through the skin initially, because you're bypassing any potential limitations of the digestive tract. It's actually the quickest way not as fast as an IV if you're in the hospital, but I've seen the most dramatic turnarounds by people soaking their feet or taking baths.
Okay. And is this
I should add, there are pills and other ways to do it too. However, Epsom salts are widely available, relatively inexpensive, and they're highly effective.
Okay. And is there, can you ever have too much? So
that is another excellent question.
Go out and buy a ton
really hard.
Okay. So it's
really hard to OD on magnesium. Like vitamin C, it's theoretically possible, but once the body reaches a saturation level, it tends to slough it off. Okay. And so if a person has kidney failure, kidney problems, that might be an issue. Then because the extra magnesium can just be excreted through the kidneys. But no, this is really pretty doggone safe. There are very few contraindications. If a person has very low blood pressure, that is also a consideration. But this is why I am an advocate of people getting tested so they get a number so that they can then dial in what they need and then see, okay, is it 5 times the US RDA gets me at where I want to be, or does it take 7, or does it take 8? It depends a little bit. A person's age, their size, gender, all that stuff comes into a little bit of the computation.
Okay. And so we can start taking Epsom salt bath. You can potentially start taking Epsom salts, because part of the reason I'm asking about the other alternatives is I tend to be a shower person, not a bath person. And so I could maybe take a bath a week, but that's not going to up things very quickly or very rapidly, I wouldn't think. Or does it? Does one bath a week make a difference?
One bath a week will help. With my and within my community, we usually do 3 of them, 3 nights, 3 days, 3 nights baths. That really kickstarts it. In an ongoing sort of protocol, a way to make it a part of your lifestyle. I totally understand not everybody wants to sit in a bath every day for 40 minutes.
Well,
there are pills.
Yeah.
Some people, yes and no, right?
Yeah.
There are pills. Most of the pills are commonly available, not so great. Magnesium oxide, it's more of a laxative. Your body doesn't absorb it as much. My favorite pill, especially since it targets the brain and especially boosts focus, is called magnesium threonate. Magnesium threonate.
Okay.
That is something that I have many of my people try, and they really notice the difference. They're like, wow, man, I feel like I'm kind of out of a fog, right?
Okay.
There are other things you can use too, sprays, soaps. There's 4 or 5 ways that we will tinker with the formula in order to get a person into an optimal range in a way that they can maintain and sustain easily within their lifestyle.
Okay. And is there any brands that you recommend that people do buy or stay away from?
For Epsom salts, they're mostly the same. There's a brand of spray, magnesium spray I like. It's under the brand Ancient Minerals.
Okay.
Life Flow also makes a good magnesium spray. Magteen makes a good, what's the name of those guys? Magteen is the name of the product. That's a magnesium threonate that I've had good success with. Neuromag by Life Extension, also good. Life Flow makes a soap. There's 3 or 4 brands that are all pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Even a magnesium soap. Wow. There's a whole world out there of this.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So thank you for that. Is there any last thing on the magnesium? Because I want to just quickly jump before we wrap up to more of the kind of the business side of things and what you do in an offer and so on. Any last things that you want to say about magnesium in terms of, I mean, it sounds like it's pretty much the solution to everything and all things for all people, but anything that you want to say or add?
I would say that magnesium is probably part of the solution to most things. And oftentimes it is the first part or the first step. Not a panacea, but I find it's critical in all of those. And yes, very briefly on the topic of hormones, in males, if their testosterone is depleted, magnesium can indirectly elevate that, because when the magnesium goes up in the body, it causes the body to create DHEA, the anti-stress, anti-aging hormones. And like a cup filling up with water, once it's full, it spills over into whatever else is needed. In males, testosterone. In females, a hormone called progesterone. Now, progesterone is interesting because it has to balance the action of 3 types of estrogen in a seesaw type of thing. And so women are often depleted in progesterone, which exacerbates many of the experiences of midlife. So balancing that out can be a total difference maker. And you can imagine, as a person's hormones start to ramp back up, their behavior and their tolerance for other people goes up too. They get along better.
Okay, so you heard it here, ladies. Those of you who are having hot flashes, probably a hormonal imbalance, often not diagnosed because most of the medical industry is not really clear on and supportive of and have natural solutions to menopause issues and issues related to hormones. So for those of you who are having too many hot flashes, and I'm talking to you specifically, then I encourage you to go and try some increase in your magnesium, see if that helps, see if that makes a difference. Okay, so just before we wrap up, Mario, thank you for that. And I am for sure going to go get some magnesium threonate and some Epsom salts really quickly. So tell me what for you has been kind of so 2 things. What's been the most successful decision you've made in your business when it comes to transferring over to creating an online business, creating this health and wellness awareness? What's been the thing that's helped you be more successful in making that transition in your business?
Okay. Well, I will give all due credit to the Success Road Academy. That's actually where we met.
Yep.
When I had the opportunity to enroll in the Ultimate Course Formula, I had this content. I really didn't know how to disseminate it using technology and platforms and organize it and really make it into a more user-friendly kind of thing. That's always an evolving process. But that was a real game changer for me to see how other people were doing it. And even in the course of that weekend, we were doing that workshop there to see what other people were doing and connect with them so that I can share my message. Also, share other people's messages, what other people are up to and doing out there that is things that I feel, wow, I have a way to help them get that out as well. And so that was a big difference for me is going to the Success Road Academy. All due credit to them.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And so, yeah, that's a big shout out to Iman, the guy, and Brady Patterson and the folks there at Success Roads. If any of you have any questions about them or their programs, you can reach out to them, or you can just instant message me or Mario, and we can tell you about some of what they do. So creating an online program and getting into creating a funnel and a process for getting people to that program has been the leveraging strategy that's really starting to work for you in making that transition. Okay. So, and especially because a big part of your business is education, working with people to get educated about alternatives, and then also the application. So I assume the application piece is where you do coaching and follow up with them one-to-one or in groups, that kind of thing. Is that how you support with the application piece? Because it's often that, not that we don't know, it's that we don't do what we know. So
Absolutely. In fact, my thing is whatever it takes,
okay.
whether you like it or not.
Okay. That's good.
Because it's true, right? And the information is free. And so now what matters is what we choose to give our time and attention to is what we invest in. And then are we getting the ROI? What does it take to get things done, to claim ownership of them? And yeah, that's I'm the same way. I need help and support with that, and that's what I give to people who join my community. It's all about getting it done. Whether they want to get it done or not, it's going to get done.
All right. So speaking of which, where is the place that people can reach you? What's a best way to contact you?
I would offer anyone who has interest in what we've discussed and shared today, just feel free to go to my Facebook page. You can just contact me there personally. That's fine. DM me or put something in the comments, and I'll be happy to get back to you. I do introductory classes where I delve into a little more depth and detail, and I pull up pictures and stuff and communicate why this first step is so important and what you need to do to take it.
Okay, and so how can people find those intro classes? So what can they do to access those? Is there a URL?
If they want to go to, they can actually just email you at realmenrevolution.com, and I will send them the schedule. We're probably going to be doing another one this Sunday, celebrating Easter evening.
Okay.
A little meditation and a little magnesium.
All right. So you at realmenrevolution.com, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So to register for the intro class, they can do that. And is that also a good email for reaching out to you?
Yes, that is the email. And it's interesting, my message, my group is with men, but always the ladies want to know what we're up to and what we're doing, and you're welcome. Yep. Come on.
All right. Yes,
magnesium for everybody.
All right, sounds good. And so they can reach you there if they're interested in coaching. And I know that part of what you do a lot of what you do goes well beyond just the magnesium. That's a foundational piece, but that you also work with people on body, mind, spirit integration, really helping us come to kind of a more holistic balance within our bodies, our energies, our hearts, minds, and souls, right?
That is correct. I really lead with the magnesium because my interest is to reach as many people as I can and make the most difference with the least amount of effort for them and for me, just to get the ball rolling, right? And get some positive feedback. I'm a student of and a practitioner and a teacher of meditative disciplines and how all this stuff ties together. I've been very fortunate to have some really exceptional teachers, and I'm just trying to pass on what I've learned. For people who have interest in meditation in particular, they'll probably be very excited by what I have to share.
Okay, awesome. And I think you're putting out a meditation program as well, or have?
That is correct. Yes,
okay.
Yes. I call it the Ultimate Meditation System. It's basically a reverse engineering of the various methods of meditation that have existed in different parts of the world and also different times in history, sort of decoding them. What are the commonalities? What makes them work? And out of that, being able to distill a more pure practice that's easier for a Western person in the 21st century to understand and practice.
Awesome. I want that. As we were talking about earlier, my monkey brain gives me a very hard time when it comes to meditation. So how do they find that course, the Ultimate Meditation System?
They can email me, you at Real Men Revolution. I have a Facebook group. I do an intro class for that as well. And they can just write that in the subject line, and I'll be sure to send them to the link. If they want to talk about it for 10 or 15 minutes, I'm happy to do it.
Okay. In the intro line or subject line. All right, sounds good. And looks like you've got a couple of your fans here on the show, Martin Jones and Nigel Windsor. Hi guys, welcome. Happy to see you here, and there's a few others as well. Any last words for for people who just want to really take a step? And I know a lot of us have a lot of resistance to making changes. What's a simple way to have people make the change and stay on track with it? Something as simple as increasing magnesium. It's not hard. It's put it in your bath, maybe take a pill or a spray or something like that. It's fairly simple, but we tend not to. So is there anything that you want to leave us with in terms of how to just really stay focused, stay on track?
Yes. Join a community, number one. Number two, know what's at stake. I try not to be too doom and gloom, but it's really not an exaggeration to say that the modern environment is really not good for us. However, with modern technology and some insight, we can successfully insulate ourselves. But this is a real issue, and it's going to get worse next year. I don't want to be the bearer of bad tidings, but in the same way that people embrace entrepreneurship for its opportunities and also its challenges, because they're seeking to claim greater ownership of their lives and reap greater rewards and make a bigger impact, to invest in your physical well-being is a tangential. It's right along that same process. You're going to have to do this. Guys, I wish I had better news for you, but it's going to get worse soon. Okay. Well, on that cheery note, I want to thank you for being here. And you're invited to the party.
There are ways on that. All right.
And I know exactly what to do.
Yes. Thank you so much for your passion. Thanks so much for your advocacy. Thank you for being here and supporting both men and women and getting more focus and more energy. And I appreciate, oh, sorry, the dog just came up and nuzzled me and scared me. I didn't realize she was here. Hello. I really appreciate you taking time to talk to us today, Mario. And thank you for your passion. I love when people are passionate about something and willing to put it out into the world and support others with understanding things that we just don't know, can't see, or aren't aware of. So thank you for being here, my friend.
Thank you so much for letting me share. It's been my honor, and I'll catch up with you real soon.
All right. Take care. Bye, everybody. See you soon. Have a bodacious day.